Hi there guys, so you joined me in the new BMW M2. So yeah, I'm super excited and I've actually just spent a bit of time as a passenger actually. This is one of BMW UK's press car, which yeah, very grateful to have the opportunity to sort of experience the car, to see exactly what it's like. I'm behind the wheel at the moment and I'm just going to give you a bit of an idea of my kind of first impressions actually on the car. It's absolutely horrendous rain, but it's like, you know what, this is what things are actually like in the real world, in the UK. And that's kind of like what I like to share on the channel. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is what it would be like if you kind of own these kind of cars, and my kind of feel and kind of impression of it. And yeah, I've been chatting a little bit to someone who knows an awful lot about BMWs and an awful lot more than myself, and gaining kind of like a bit of knowledge. Now, I've had the pleasure recently of driving a Cayman GT4 RS, and I appreciate that that car is more of a step up potentially. If there's a future M2 CS, that might be more like closing to that. But this is very much sports car. It's very much like, you know, fun to drive. 460 brake horsepower, 3 litres, you know, straight six. You know, it is a little bit of a dying breed, it feels. Particularly with sort of like the rear wheel drive kind of nature. It's something which we're not gonna see sort of like again, sadly. And actually sitting and sort of like cruising around in this car, a couple of things to take away sort of early on. I felt it felt really comfortable actually with the adaptive. It felt super sporty. It felt like you had to really sort of work with this car, like whether it's not waiting for the tyres to get up to temperature. That's quite important, particularly when it's cold and it's wet. This is a rear wheel drive car. It's got huge rear section rear tyres. It's 20-inch on the rear, 19s on the front. Stopping power felt good. This one's actually in an auto. You can get this with 3 pedals in a manual. It also has the standard seats. It doesn't have the bucket seats. I found them, you know, plenty comfortable. You know, I've been in some pretty hardcore cars recently and it was actually quite nice to be in this. I liked how, I was quite surprised with like the design. It felt almost like, I know it's kind of like a sports car against the Cayman, but it almost felt a little bit like a muscle car in some ways as well, against say like a Mustang. You know, you could have like a V8 under the hood. So that was quite cool to kind of sort of like experience. One thing I always notice, so this car's done about 3,600 miles. It's a press car. It's going to have a reasonably hard life, let's just be honest with you. And there's not a squeak, there's not a rattle. It's just a really, really nice car to kind of use every day and still be a sports car. And that's something that, you know, you do lose, you know, you do have 2 rear seats, you know, smaller back there, but you do have that option. You do have a boot. You know, we've had the umbrella in the back, and actually that's kind of the big thing. You know, this is a car that you can have and genuinely use. As I grate my way to the back of the M2, this is what it's like for me. So at the moment I've sort of pushed the seat forward a little bit, but nice and easy actually. It's all electrically adjusted, get my words out. But yeah, you get that sort of feel of what it's like back here. Yeah, smaller, just 2 seats, but hey, you've got that option. But what I wanted to show you actually here is actually the spec of this exact car, and what I really liked, and I sort of enlarged this more than just obviously just in my hand, is that you don't really need too many options on your M2 because it comes really, really well equipped. But the standard options is what really impresses me actually. M Drive Professional, M Sport Differential, Sport Automatic transmission, so that's good. M adaptive suspension. You know, the previous generation M2 did not have adaptive. They only introduced it into the M2 CS. And you get a whole load of sort of features. So just reading through it all, M carbon roof I think is probably the main big one to go for. Obviously folding mirrors, auto dimming, rear view mirrors, electric memory seats, front heated seats, carbon fiber interior trim as well, which, you know, I've sort of shown around the whole car. It is very, very high quality. You know, that's just the truth. You've got a lot of security system as well. This has got the Harman Kardon sound system. It did sound pretty good, so that was positive. And in general, a really, really nice and easy way where you can literally just go for a base M2 if you wanted to. This particular car is in Brooklyn Grey, which is a no-cost option colour. The carbon roof, which I was really surprised on, it looks great. You don't necessarily need to have anything, you know, unless you want sort of like bucket seats. That's sort of the major cost option. Manual gearbox is a cost option as well. You know, there's not really anything that you really want more. There's things to get up to speed with, say like the screens. It's just clicked itself off at the moment. Yeah, you have to kind of sign in with like your BMW ID and get up to speed with it. But one thing that strikes me a lot here is the professional kind of nature of it. It just feels like top quality stuff. it doesn't feel like anything has been sort of like skimped on. They really thought it through, and you still get some physical buttons. Look, I mean, that's got a little sports exhaust sign, so you know, obviously going to open the valves, and you know, just physical things to do things, physical volume buttons, and it's constantly being improved. Like M1 button, M2 button, really nice carbon paddles, you know, very well, the same as sort of like on the M3. Really nice wheel as well, with like nice inserts, and again, buttons to do things, you know, cruise control. You've got the voice activation. I actually really like these light up as well. The seat belts are really cool as well, with like, so you've got like the performance sort of stitching M2 to show there. If I can find the seat belts, which I don't think I can. I think they've tucked themselves in a little bit. Yeah, you've got like the BMW sort of stripe shown there, so all nice little touches, and it almost looks like very much a carbon fibre effect. It's very, very special, and a nice place to sort of spend time in. You know, I wasn't sort of, as a passenger, going, oh, you know, get me out of here. You know, it's not really good enough. I can only tell you so much from being as a passenger, but I like the brakes, I like the suspension feel. It felt very engaging. I've heard things from other reviews where it's potentially quite a skittish car potentially on the road, which in some ways makes things more engaging. I didn't really get that impression, if I'm honest. I felt it was quite stable. You know, this is kind of almost based on, well, it is based on like an M3, M4 platform, and as a result, it has a little bit more weight to it than potentially say like a Porsche Cayman, but that actually makes things more planted. I get the same thing with my Golf R. It's got the 4Motion, which makes it heavier than a normal Golf, but actually when things are windy and blustery and challenging, I mean, it's hammering it down rain right now. This is the real, you know, we're in February 2024. This is what things are like, and you know, can you still get out in this car and have a little bit of fun? I think you can. You certainly have to wait for the tyres to warm up, and you have to be careful. I mean, this, you know, it picks a punch. You know, it really does move. Certainly well worthy of an M car, and I'm quite intrigued to think of what might come. Obviously, you know, who knows what would come if there's a CS or there's anything else on the horizon. But this is certainly a great platform to kind of go about things. This is very much a community channel, so let me know your thoughts. You know, we spent the last sort of like 20 to 30 minutes kind of driving around in the car, and I got plenty of information just about BMW and about where they're kind of going. And for me, particularly with the 2 Series being generally all combustion, you can get obviously the 220i, we can get the 220d as well, you can get the M240i, and that's one thing that I definitely would be thinking about. You know, the lower powered engine rear wheel drive sort of set up in sort of like a 220 could be something quite interesting. You know, perhaps you might prefer a little bit maybe toned down look, and I kind of thought like maybe the M240 might actually be like that secret little M-Light that you could go for, because being X-Drive, 370 horsepower, it probably is the quicker car in the real world. This is the more serious, engaging, be on your toes. Make no mistake, not everyone can just hop into this car, whether it's auto or manual, and take it out for a drive, particularly when the weather's like this in the UK. You've got to be on your toes, and I think that makes it quite fun and quite special. I can only tell you what I can on face value. I like the sort of feel of the seats. You move around a little bit more than you would in the buckets. That's what it's going to be, but it felt comfortable. Everything seemed to work. Nothing was lagging or freezing. You know, I'm always quite honest in what I say. You know, I say it as I see it and as I feel it. It's a car that I'm happy BMW are still producing and making, and yeah, happy to have spent a little bit of time in the wet in the car. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, if there's anything else I can help you out with. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, and plenty more content to come. And I would say, if you want to check out a video, check out me in the GT4 RS. And yeah, that was pretty special. I'll leave that sort of in the middle here. I like the key as well. That's a nice touch. Hey, look at that. It's very, very simple and easy to do, but actually makes a whole host of difference when you own a car like this.